Few deny that to get good at anything requires practice, but the undeniable truth is that so much practice does not result in improvement in retained skill. If it did, all golfers who practiced would see their handicaps fall, and this clearly isn't the case. One of the biggest underlying reasons for unrewarded practice is the belief that simply repeating the right movement enough times will result in improvement. What the science of motor learning is telling us, however, is that repetition alone is not enough. The very nature of practice is hugely influential in skill acquisition and retention. When the nature of practice matches the way the human brain learns, improvement can be accelerated. One of the ways that expert coaches tap into this accelerated improvement is through a concept called the sweet spot of learning, which I'll explain. The sweet spot, also known as the optimal challenge point, is where the difficulty of the task you're attempting is set just beyond your current level of ability. This creates a situation where you have to reach and struggle slightly in order to solve the problem. If the task is too easy, it might lead to effortless success or boredom, but either way, little skill is earned here. If the task is too difficult, then it can be hard to make sense of what is happening. The failure rate will be high, so practice is very demotivating. Imagine teaching a young child to ride a bike without stabilizers or giving them a helping hand. At the sweet spot, the appropriate movement is learnt through attempting a very specific task, and the brain associates the two, and it's this association which helps the right swing come to the fore for the shot at hand when you're out there on the golf course. Let's say you were working on your ability to strike chips well. One of the main ways you can moderate the difficulty of the task is the lie you give yourself. You might find fluffier lies easier to find a good strike from because the ball is sitting up. But once you got the hang of it, you would be doing yourself a disservice if you didn't then venture to slightly tighter lies. In making it a little harder, you create the conditions where your technique will have to be refined slightly in order to achieve the new task. In contrast, starting from too tight a lie can decrease performance so much that learning doesn't occur here either. Provided you're getting decent feedback about what's happening in the initial failed attempts, the chances are you will figure out what refinements are necessary to find good strikes off the tighter lie. Strategies you can use to find the sweet spot of learning in long game include teeing it up or hitting it off the deck, alternatively making shorter or slower swings, another option is to go from a large target to a smaller target or vice versa. Moving between a lofted or less lofted club is another way of moderating difficulty. You can also play games in your golf practice which have the sweet spot of learning built right into it. Here I'm doing a 3-in-a-row exercise. To set up the game, take a handful of tees and lay them out at 1-foot increments away from the hole. The purpose of the game is to hold 3 putts from each station, gradually moving back away from the hole. As soon as you miss one, however, you have to go right back to 1 foot and start the game again. In this way, it keeps you from skipping ahead of where you are right now, only allowing the task to become harder if you build up the necessary skill. As you will know from the peaks and troughs of a practice session, your level of ability is quite a fluid thing, so the sweet spot of learning will need adjusting several times within one practice session. Becoming aware of where am I right now is key to ensuring practice sessions are worthwhile and avoiding those that feel like you're banging your head against a brick wall. Ultimately, if you see task difficulty as a sliding scale that can be adjusted in either direction whenever necessary, you'll get the hang of it.